so hard, say we can't avoid the curses. Yeah. Hold up, suitcase. I've been living out of suitcase. Wait, I ain't trying to sound like Drake. Nah, I'm just showing how the Most High increased my faith. They demonstrate I roll dolo from state to state. You who are leading the charge. I just follow instruction. I just stand in His word. I don't care if they love me, good, bad, or ugly. How you dress the evil, whether private or public. I defend y'all's people cursed. New world order, should I order necessary artillery and man into the crib? Deuteronomy 28 tell you what it is. Israelite, this is the life that we live. Ain't no taking the vaccine, we headed off the grid. Famine of the word, show the people how to fish. It's real in the field, but it's worse in the city. We cursed in the field and cursed in the city. What's up?
Shalom, it's your brother Israel here. Real quick, saw a video with the Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club where he had hosted the CEO of the ADL. And just want to know, Charlemagne, why didn't you fact check that dude, man? I done watched you before and you fact check people. Why didn't that guy get fact checked? So here's the video that Charlemagne should have fact checked this guy. And these people need to stop blaming or trying to put false images or false people that think badly about the children of Israel. Look, you cannot deny it. I mean, no matter what, we can't become anything else. Our bloodline belong back to Jacob. We are his descendants. We are the children of Israel. Man, let's hear it.
All right. It's DJ NV, Charlemagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
That's right, the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League.
Jonathan Greenblatt, welcome.
Good morning. Welcome. Thank you for having me.
How are you, man?
I'm well. How are you guys?
And blessed, black, and highly favored.
Doing pretty good.
There you go.
So let's start off. What is the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League?
Well,
What do you do?
What do I do? So the Anti-Defamation League, let's just step back.
Mhm.
It's the oldest anti-hate organization in the United States. It was founded in 1913 after a Jewish man was lynched. He'd been falsely accused of a crime, wrongly convicted, and ultimately the mob tore him from his jail and they hung him from a tree. And while the corpse was still hanging from the rope, they all gathered around, the town did.
Hold up. Falsely accused my you know what. Let's go.
They had a barbecue underneath the body. They took pictures and they turned the photographs into postcards.
Sounds familiar.
I was going to say, like, lynchings happen to young black men and black women very frequently in the South. This was the first high-profile lynching of a Jewish man, and a bunch of Jews said, we got to do something about this. And so they founded an organization they called the Anti-Defamation League, and they wrote a mission statement that was pretty amazing.
So what is Jonathan Greenblatt not telling us? And Charlemagne refuses to even ask. Now, we all know they have a primarily black and Latino audience. So what is Jonathan Greenblatt's message that he's not telling us?
Most people know that the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith is an organization that seeks to defend the Jewish people from any criticism, but many people do not know why the ADL was formed. This story starts in 1913 when a man named Leo Frank, who was president of B'nai B'rith's Atlanta chapter, raped and murdered a 13-year-old worker, Mary Fagan, in the pencil factory where he was a superintendent. He tried to blame a black janitor for the crime, but all the evidence pointed to Frank. He tried to blame a black janitor for the crime, but all the evidence pointed to Frank. He tried to blame a black janitor for the crime, but all the evidence pointed to Frank. He tried to blame a black janitor for the crime, but all the evidence pointed to Frank. The ADL formed in 1913 to protect Frank from anti-Semitism, but he was found guilty in 1915. Frank's lawyers appealed, but failed. Then Frank's powerful friends got Georgia Governor Sladen to commute his death sentence to life imprisonment, which outraged the public. A mob formed, broke Frank out of jail, and lynched him. The ADL got Frank a posthumous pardon in 1986 and placed the first national anti-lynching memorial at the Leo Frank Memorial site. They continue to protect Jewish criminals from justice to this day. That's their mission.
It's Black Hebrew Israelites this weekend. What, today's Monday? Tuesday.
Wednesday.
What's going to air on Wednesday?
Sorry. So it is over this past weekend in Staten Island on Sunday. A Jewish man who he must have been Orthodox because you could identify that he was Jewish, and his son were shot by a young man with a pellet gun as they came out of a gun. And so
Yikes.
When he was asked by the police, they said it was a hate crime. He said, how could it be a hate crime if I'm a Hebrew? This is the kind of fiction that black Hebrew Israelites say that white Jews, quote unquote, aren't really Jews.
So again, what is Jonathan Greenblatt refusing or not telling us that Charlemagne refuses to ask? Let me say it again. What is this dude, Jonathan Greenblatt, not telling us and Charlemagne refuses to ask? I'm like, what? I'm sitting back like, some black guy shot some Jewish people? What the hell?
Strong police presence here today as the NYPD investigates whether this disturbing incident was a hate crime. Now, Jewish residents in this diverse community are shaken, especially since this comes amid a sharp rise in anti-Semitic incidents citywide. Police tell us about 4:30 p.m. Sunday outside the Island Kosher Market on Victory Boulevard in Staten Island, a 32-year-old Jewish man and his 7-year-old son were on the sidewalk, both wearing yarmulkes. Investigators say a dark sedan with no license plate drove by, and someone inside fired a pellet gun, hitting the father twice in the chest and the child near his ear.
It's scary because you don't know when you're walking on the street, you don't know who can do it. Like, imagine if it was a real gun.
I think it's very sad what happened to this father and son.
Other shoppers here were surprised that an incident like this could happen here. But the NYPD tells us anti-Semitic incidents for the month of November citywide were up 125% over November 2021.
To be honest with you, just very scary. You know, this is a very peaceful neighborhood overall. Everyone is got very friendly Italian neighbors and black neighbors and Chinese neighbors and everybody, and we all get along great.
The all-volunteer Staten Island Shmira Emergency Services team posted this wanted flyer asking for information.
I myself, I always have to watch my back because I'm Jewish too. And I have to watch my back because you know how it is. Everybody, people...
Nah, we don't know how it is. You on that bullshit.
Now, the father and son were not seriously injured and refused medical attention, according to authorities. Now, the NYPD is asking anyone with information to give them a call at 1-800-577-TIPS. You do not have to give your name. We're live in Staten Island. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News.
The first thing I want you all to look at is the logo on the left side of your screen. It says Shamrim, Staten Island. Now, the Shamrim is a group of so-called Jews. They have their own police force or security teams in New York City. Okay. Imagine, how come black people are not allowed to police their own community? We get killed more than any other people, and even by our own people. But so-called Jewish people are allowed to have their own police force. Look it up. I lie not. But what I really want you to see is Jonathan Greenblatt, although he didn't say it, he alluded that the shooter was a black man. How could I be anti-Semitic if I'm a Hebrew? That's what he said. Hebrew Israelite, Hebrew Israelite. Look at the games, the word plays that they do, that he does. This is the head of the ADL, okay? Now, let's zoom in on the car and take a look at the alleged shooter. I don't know, I don't see brown skin there. It kind of looks Caucasian. Well, they finally caught the guy, and let's take a look at the shooter, or alleged shooter. Let's take a look at him. New York City man who shot at Jewish dad. You can't make this stuff up. Let's take a look. Let's just take a look. Brothers and sisters, does this look like a black man to you? See, Jonathan Greenblatt, you're a very deceitful man. Charlemagne, you need to be ashamed of yourself. You really need to be ashamed of yourself. And God gonna bring judgment. The Most High, Yahweh, will bring judgment on this evil. Okay? I want everyone to understand it. God is going to bring judgment on this evil. You try to push the false narrative that a black man did this shooting. That's what you tried to do. Although you didn't use the words, you said, how can I be anti-Semitic if I'm a Hebrew? Why did you use the term Hebrew? Because it goes with Hebrew Israelite. That's what you done did. Listen, Jonathan Greenblatt, we're not stupid. If you want to sit down with the Israelites, we're going to sit down in a public forum. And we can end this. We can end your lies with biblical proof. But you won't do it. You go and talk to simple Charlemagne, the sellout Negro, and sit there and push your false narratives to get society against God's truth that we are indeed the 12 tribes of Israel.
There are plenty of Jews of color. There are plenty of African American Jews that I know. But in addition, I think we have shared values, and unfortunately, we have common enemies. But let's come back to what you asked about.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot with groups.
I want to go back to something you just said. You said, you acknowledge there are black Jews. There are African American Jews.
100%.
Some people think saying that they're labeled anti-Semitic. What is the difference between saying, hey, which is a fact, there are black Jews, and what y'all consider anti-Semitic in that conversation?
I don't know anyone could. I mean, the fact there are black Jews is just a statement of truth. I don't think that's anti-Semitic. I mean, I think let's also acknowledge that Judaism is a wide spectrum, right? So you have Orthodox Jews who speak Yiddish, who eat strict kosher and observe the way they do, and then you have very Reformed Jews who, like me, I'm conservative Jewish actually. I have a kosher home. I go to synagogue on Saturday mornings. I observe all the holidays, but I don't wear a kippah, for example.
Look at this line,
Jews who say I would never set foot in a synagogue, but they feel culturally Jewish. They identify as Jewish because it's complicated. It's a religion. It's an ethnicity. It's a culture. It's just not something you can just say is about, like showing up on a Saturday morning. So with all that said, there's a range of practice and observance. So there are plenty of black Jews who go to what you might call traditional Jewish synagogue. Then there are other communities like the Black Hebrew Israelites. Now, there's a range of practice even among Black Hebrew Israelites. There's a large community of them in Israel who identify as Jewish in a traditional way. And then you have the guys in Times Square who observe in a way that's not so traditional, I would say.
They would say y'all aren't Jews. They would say that, what do they say? White people are not the original Jews, basically?
Correct.
Yeah.
And look, they're entitled to their beliefs until that justifies shooting Jewish people with pellet guns on Staten Island. Or like, this is December.
What do the Israelites got to do with that shooting?
December 2019, 2 Black Hebrew Israelites went into a kosher supermarket in Jersey City and killed 3 people because they said...
Bring your facts.
Brothers and sisters, ask yourselves, have they provided any proof that those people were Israelites? Any proof other than them saying it? This man is a gosh damn liar. And Charlemagne just sitting there going, Simple. This is why they don't sit down with the Israelites. We gonna put the heat on them. Prove it, you daggone devil. Prove it. They can't prove nothing that they're saying. They're a bunch of daggone liars.
Shot them cold dead in a kosher supermarket. So again, you're entitled to believe whatever you want. But I think we need to recognize that rhetoric can have real world consequences.
Can we talk about Hollywood again? Because it is true that Jewish people founded Hollywood, but there's a reason for that.
They did.
Right?
Some Jewish.
Yes, Hollywood is owned and run by so-called Jewish people so that they can control the narrative, so that they can manipulate the minds and thoughts of Black and Hispanic and Latino people to get them to think what they think, meaning to get them to think what these so-called Jewish people think. Don't be deceived, brothers and sisters. Don't be deceived.
The people don't know. The people don't know that the phone's so strong that you can't avoid the curses. Curses. You hit hard so you can't avoid the curses. Another example. Curses. Boy, this girl, she was fine. Word of understanding. Blue was mine. He thought she was different, one of a kind. But in the end, she raped him for his time, robbed him of his freedom, took every dime, left him penniless and broken. He was crying and was crazy about it. There came a baby out it. Girl, hold the meaning change when he came round it. Now they get to beefing. Now they in court, fighting for custody, child support. You see him working, barely making meal, miss a couple payments, wind up in jail. Mad as a lion, he hit the ground running, still can't see his baby. It's all for nothing. Whole family told report, it's deeper than the surface. Most of us won't admit we still under the curses. Oh Oh no, too strong to let go. Too strong to let go. Consuming a generation. Consuming a generation. The people don't know. Don't know. The people don't know. The phone's so strong that you can't avoid the curses. Can't avoid the curses. The curses. The truth is the hard, so you can't avoid the curses. Can't avoid the curses. Nah, the curses. We must destroy to rebuild it. Yahuwah's spirit ain't in buildings. Days of Noah, these the days of Noah. You blind, you don't see the demon in the children. Saying anything, they doing anything. Shedding blood, say it's in his name. Women masculine, men gay. Look me in my face, say you born this way. Lies, murder in your heart, you grab a nine. Shoot, just killed your brother cause you tender-eyed. Why? That chicken ain't fried, it's still pink inside. You ain't cooking right, that was a parable. Repent, the kingdom coming, what you gonna do? When destruction rain down, who you gonna run to? Just try and make it plain so that you can understand. Fear Yah, keep it slow, it's the whole duty of man. Oh no.